Alright, I'm returning from my unexpected hiatus just for this. Sorry about that. It's been a lot going on. There are a few games that I can't comment on because I'm unfamiliar with the series, but we can skim through the announcements. I'll start with the titles that I found the most intriguing. It must be very exciting for fans of this series. This one looks interesting. I love solving puzzles and mysteries, but I can already tell that I'm not going to be a fan of the writing though, so I just borrow it when my friends buy it. Moving on to this guy. It's an Atlas game. Alright, I know what to expect from them at this point, so I probably won't like it. It's not turn-based, which from the games I've played from them is different. A lot of their... yeah, all of their games that I've played have been turn-based. If there are similar Atlas titles to this one, please comment them below. I would love to try them. Turn-based RPGs are fun, but I don't really like Atlases specifically. If the writing is anything like the Persona series or FE Encore, which are the two titles that I've actually played from them, then I'm probably going to skip out on this one. You know, it's okay. Also, taking a look at Shadow Labyrinth. It looks interesting. I'm not a fan of 2D platformers. It's just not my thing. So I probably won't like this one. I know other people will. I did think it was interesting that this is a Pac-Man game. I saw the puck. I was like, oh, that looks like Pac-Man. That's cute. And then they did that attack right here. I'm like, wait a minute. So yeah, it's a Pac-Man series game. I didn't even know that was a thing, but I'm sure it'll be fun. Now moving on to the big one on the list, which might be a little surprising, actually. Okay, so this is the first one on the list that I'm actually excited for. So there was a remastered version released for consoles in 2017. I didn't get the chance to try it much since I couldn't find a physical copy of it. I did, however, at someone's house, get to play it, because we're both super fans of this game. I played the hell out of the original one for the PSP, so if you're wondering who this game is for, it's for me. This game is for me. This is the game that helped me develop the rhythm, which was very useful when I became a musician. I'm actually writing a script for this game, so it'll be much better for me to have both copies on handheld. That way I can record B-roll much easier. And I'll actually have access to the game, because I don't have access to it otherwise. I've only played the first one, though. No, actually that's not true. Well, I played some of the first one, and then I started the second one, but I never finished it. I can't remember why. I have very vague memories of this game, but I just know that I love it, because the fact that I got excited when I heard it, I was like, oh my god, so I know this is a good game. I'm just, oh wow. Actually, I'm looking at all the options for the first time. That's actually really cool. I'm genuinely really excited. But anyways, yeah, I can't imagine playing this on a console. It doesn't feel the same. It's like playing a what's the name of that series? That Hatsune Miku the Project Diva. It's like playing Project Diva on the console, which is no, it wasn't made for consoles. This was made for handheld. It's perfect. I can take it anywhere. So thank you, Nintendo, for putting this together. It's so random. It was one of those obscure games that suddenly got more attention for some strange reason. It kind of felt like Baten Kaito's. That was super obscure. And then all of a sudden they announced a remaster for the Switch of not just the first game, but the second one. And I was like, huh, that's weird. Why? I mean, I'm not upset about it, but why? It was such a dead game. But I'm like, you know what? I love the universe. I love it, so why not? Needless to say, I will be buying this. Not right away. I don't think. But I have to make sure it's not buggy, or that, you know, so a lot of the remasters recently aren't very good. You never pre-order a game. You never buy a game beforehand. You gotta wait for the reviews. So, you know, I gotta see what the deal is first. If people don't end up caring about it, it means the price will go down, and that's a good thing for me, because that means I can buy it much cheaper, which is great. Alright, what's the next title? Alright. Story of Seasons. Okay. Story of Seasons is a series I'm very familiar with. I've been playing Harvest Moon games since the Game Boy Advance. I actually have a copy of the original Friends of Mineral Town, like the one on the Game Boy, you know what I mean? That's some old shit. I've been waiting for Nintendo to add that to their digital collection for a while now. They have the N64 one, but that version, eh. And the ones beyond that have a style that I don't enjoy. When it comes to farming games, I don't like the polished 3D look. It's why I love Stardew Valley, but not Animal Crossing. Well, I disliked Animal Crossing for other reasons, but that certainly didn't help. The reason I know this is because I have Tale of Two Towns, and I couldn't get into it. The one for the 3DS, yeah, I have that one too, and I played some of it, and then I was like, I don't know. There's something about it just couldn't. To me, farming games need to be simple and straightforward, and this aesthetic feels too produced. The world, I mean, you can see it right here. The world also feels bigger. It takes longer to go from one place to another, and this game knows it, which is why they provided you with a glider. No thanks. I like it when everything is compact. You know, I don't want to have to take 2 minutes to get from one half of town to the other. I want everything to be kind of, not like super, super close. I still want a sense of scale, but not so far away that it takes me 2 minutes to figure out where the store is, and then I have to go back, and then missing the schedules, and it's just like, bleh. So, I'm sure fans of the series will love this one. It looks very pretty, and I'm a big fan of customization options, so, whoa. I'd like to hear what you think about these. I'm actually very curious, so tell me, which one has been your favorite so far? Alright, moving into the big boy. Oh, this is the big announcement. This is the anticipated one. Okay. Many fans have to change their pants because of this reveal. Alright. I'm kind of sad that I don't share in that excitement because I enjoyed the first one. I played it once on the GameCube and then again on the Switch. I own the digital trilogy on the Wii, but never got to playing the second one. It's a whole shabacle. They're so fun, but I hate backtracking, which is a big portion of this game. When playing through the first Prime, I couldn't fight the final boss because I hadn't collected all the artifacts. It took me months to do it because I didn't want to do it. The idea of having to look through the chart and be like, alright, what am I missing? And I have to go check, and I have to make sure I know where it is, and if I already have it, then ugh. I have to do everything by sections, and it was the worst. I hated it so much. I don't have the knowledge of the sequels, but I bet they improve on what the first one sucked at least I hope so. Which is why some of my frustrations and doubts may be misplaced for Prime 4. I don't like the idea that Samus is the chosen one. This very interesting looking alien creature thing. And I was like, huh. But yeah, I don't like the idea. It was something. If it was a thing before, then I guess. But I wouldn't know. I've only played the first one. I don't like her being the chosen one. I just think it's kind of lazy. She was a pioneer in female representation because she was a badass. It was thanks to, yes, her technology, but her abilities to use that technology efficiently and intelligently that intrigued me. To know that her strength now comes from a god is disappointing and honestly overused, but I'm, I like the knowledge here. I'm clearly I may be misunderstanding some of what's being shown because I don't have the context. And obviously I'm judging this based on, like, a minute, almost over a minute, 2 minutes worth of information. We don't really know what this means. So I'm not, I'm not getting angry about it. It's just kind of like, that's an interesting decision. However, from what I have seen, I don't know, she's using kind of this, like, cool psychic abilities. I like them. They look very visually appealing. It's a shame I can't play it in the same way I did on the Wii, though, because on the Wii you can use motion controls. It felt, I was very young when I was using the Wii, but it felt like I was playing as her when I used to do this on the Wii, right? It was the same when I was doing Skyward Sword. I would attach a sword to my Wii remote and I would just pretend I'm Link, and it was great. It was a lot of fun. So it's a shame I don't get to experience that here unless they add motion controls, which I really doubt they will. Who knows? Right? Obviously for the first game they couldn't because that was not a feature in it. If they did for the others and I just don't know about it, then cool. But if they do, that'd be kind of fun, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I feel like I was her, traversing through an alien planet and decimating everything, akin to Doom. The Wii was a very, very big era for me, so I guess I just hold a lot of nostalgia for it. But either way, very long anticipated title, and I am very excited to see where this goes. This one I will also be waiting on because it's gonna be very expensive. And eventually someone will resell it, so I'll just get it there. The next interesting one was the Rift of the NecroDancer. I was introduced to this series when the Zelda version of Crypt of the NecroDancer was on a game trial for the Switch. I loved it. It was hard not to. As a musician and a Zelda fan, both, right? This new one is different. The other one was more about exploration in rhythm. You would move in blocks to the beat of the music and everything would move around with you. And you had to make decisions based on that. Didn't get to play the original version of it, which I would absolutely love to, but the Zelda one was very, very good. In general, I love rhythm games. It's crazy that there's already DLC for this. I mean, fans of Celeste really blew up. It's actually kind of crazy. Or they're gonna love it, right? It'll give you something to stare at. I just don't know what else Celeste is gonna do for you other than music. Does it add a storyline? I don't know. It's not super expensive if you get the music pack. $2 for a song, if it's just for a song, seems like a lot, but hey, the economy is going to shit, so that makes sense. I'm excited to see what else they add, because I've become a fan of this company. They're doing a good job. Another polarizing title. Many a YouTuber have been attacked just for sharing their opinion. Let me just say, this series has whipped so many fans. They are wrapped around a greedy little finger because they got super excited about this. Why? I mean, why? Seriously, this feels like a downgrade, especially as part of the Legends titles. We went from having an open world where everything was new to a city we've seen before, with features we've seen before. I mean, that one's a given, right? There's only so much they can do. With designated zones. Where's the open world? There's so little to say about this game that one of the features is that the aura changes at night. Oh shit, I didn't realize the vibe of a world would change when the sun sets. That shit happens in real life too. Every day actually. Just go outside and you'll see it. Switching to open world as the new standard was a mistake. Not just for Pokemon, but for games in general. Because now it's expected that every game has a huge map. You know what happened as a result? Bloat. Look at all the recent AAA titles that advertise a huge map. What do you notice? It feels empty, despite the amounts of quests. They also feel very AI generated. You know, that's an entirely different deal. Let's go back to linear games, or at least much smaller worlds. Quality over quantity. And this new Pokemon game just ain't it. But people will always find something to enjoy about a game. I know, I do it too. I try to, remain on the more optimistic side. So I hope, and I know this will bring someone joy. Like, true joy. Not the kind that gets defensive when someone has an opposing opinion. After what Violet gave us, I will be skipping this one too. It's safe to assume that I will also be skipping the future ones as well, so I have a lot to say about this, but I'm going to avoid saying anything because I've seen what happened to the people who have spoken, and I am not gonna deal with that shit. What was the next thing? Oh, that's right, next biggest thing. So this is huge, right? This feature shows how amazing physical games are. If anything, it makes me want to stick to physical copies even more. But this will be useful for all digital gamers out there. I understand the need to keep everything in one spot. I mean, I love efficiency just as much as the next person. Thanks to this, digital gamers can understand how it feels to share a game with someone and not have to go through hoops. Only for 2 weeks at a time, though. That is also a great way to do this legally. I'm sure this feature is a response to the various less than legal versions of these cartridges. You know, the options to share games, to have 50 games in one to put it into your Switch, because that's not okay, by the way. Piracy is, well, this is a good feature. Everything else looked okay. I mean, Witchbrook looked interesting, but the premise of the game is that I have to pay for my tuition. Ew. The online co-op sounds like it would be fun, though. Not my thing, but I hope y'all enjoy it. Rhythm Heaven was also pretty uninteresting. Yes, I do like rhythm games, but I don't know. This one just didn't appeal to me. I like my rhythm games to have a level of difficulty to them, and just waving my hand to the beat doesn't sound like fun. Unless I'm conducting an orchestra, I wouldn't do it otherwise. But again, this is just a trailer. We don't know the full extent of the game, which is why it's a good idea to wait. Some of the other games mentioned, didn't get much of a spotlight, so there isn't anything I can say. There's only so much I can form in my brain on a 20-second clip. You know, I need more information than that, and I'm sure they'll expand on it much later. So let's finish this off with Nintendo Today. Okay. I like the concept, but I don't want to download an entire new app for it. My phone doesn't have infinite space, you know. I hope they have a similar feature on their website. I'd prefer that. I don't have Twitter, and I don't plan on getting Twitter anytime soon, so I don't find out about announcements until a YouTuber that I enjoy actually talks about them. And I've been a Nintendo supporter for years, so at least this way I can get updates reliably, without going through someone's angry rant about something. So yeah, I actively use Nintendo Music, which is another app I was gonna make a video about, so I'm familiar with how they operate. I'll probably download it just to see what it's like, but otherwise I'll stick to using my Switch for news updates. Well, that was everything. I'd like to know what you think about any of the titles featured in this direct. I am of one brain, so hearing your thoughts on something I'm unfamiliar with will help me understand why you enjoy it, which, in the end, that's what matters. Let's open a dialogue. So, see you on the next one.